Hey guys, welcome back to CE Week coverage here in 2014.
It is. It's
Callie
not 2015
Lewis.
yet. It's
Not
2014.
Yet. I keep wanting to say 2015 because I'm already looking forward to CES 2015.
But we're still enjoying 2014.
We
I'm
are.
John P.
I'm Callie Lewis.
That is Callie Lewis.
And we have Brian Barr from California Audio Technology.
That's right. Hey, Brian, how are you
great
doing?
To have
Hi,
you
John.
Good to
Nice to
have
see
you
you
back
again.
on the show.
We love talking to you because
Oh.
you always tell us about these amazing things that are going
I
on.
totally can't afford it. Would have no
Wait, you
visibility
can't afford
into.
it?
Even I can't afford these things. Okay. I mean, I can afford some things. I can't afford. So your company, you specialize in basically toys for like the ultra rich, ultra premium market. I
Absolutely.
mean,
Yeah.
like we're talking mega yachts and stuff like that, right?
The yachts we often work on, as we've talked before, are like 90 meter, 100 meter and larger.
90 meters, okay?
Yeah.
Not like 90
That's
feet.
big.
Like I'm thinking a big boat, like 90 foot.
No, a football
Right.
field.
Yeah, like
Or two football
100 meter long boat. Okay, so you put.
And
I don't even know how you get involved in that.
How
do
did
you
that
even
start?
think
Yeah,
about it?
seriously, how did that?
There's a
even
lot of
start?
toys on those yachts, of
Yeah.
course. There's helicopters, submarines,
They have
little
submarines?
tenders, large tenders, anything you could imagine, from masseuses to mixologists to hiring a botanist, so when they come into an indigenous island, they can choose the right mushrooms or the right vegetables that they can prepare during the day.
Yeah.
So all of these toys for these very deserving, ultra wealthy, and their guests, their families, need to be put together in harmony.
Yes,
And a large part of that harmony is music.
Right.
you're right.
Video is important, but as you can imagine, video is more of a destination event. You're going to watch a movie, you're going to watch a sporting event, but music can happen all day and all night. Whether you're jet skiing around your yacht, you still want to be able to crank out music. Maybe you want to hire a live band that comes on board. You'll hire the Eagles or the Rolling Stones. You'll hire Elton John to come and play. And those people have to have a way to plug in easily
Yeah.
and still perform to your guests without having all kinds of cabling in the way and speakers all over the place, taking the deck footage. You know, we've been on some of these yachts before we got involved, and they couldn't even do it out on the high seas. They didn't have the right amount of power and cables. They'd have to come into shore, have generators on the shore, cables coming off, unwanted speakers all over the
Ugly,
place. People are
yeah.
tripping. There's no place to hang out, and it still didn't even perform correctly. So our job is to work with the same materials as we've talked before, things like 316L stainless steel,
Yep.
and carbon fiber, and titanium, and aluminum. All of the exotic materials that the yacht and all of its toys are built out of, we also build out of, but we build the audio that way. So of course the performance is incredible, but also the durability. It's built to hide and to sustain the elements like the sun and the salt. So when we're finished, our clients will come up to us and say, hey, maybe we want to hire Tiesto to be a live DJ today, or David Guetta, or what have you, and we want to have 300 people on board. They got to just come up, plug in a mixing board, and go hot.
Yeah.
So we have to have literally Vegas club level sound
Yeah.
as far as SPL, as far as volume,
Yeah.
but the ultra high precision that our clients expect to the level of a recording studio, which
Yeah,
is
because-
much better than a Vegas club.
Right.
Yeah, that is a
right.
big deal because, like, I know you can see that we've got a kind of a mess over on this side of the
Can you
studio,
clean,
but
can you
Yeah,
clean
yeah.
him up over there?
yeah, look at Dave. He's like, what? Well, you know,
Right.
we've got a lot of stuff here, but we have to think through every little thing we're going to be doing, and we have to be prepared for it.
Of
And we're
course.
just one
Right.
group, okay? If you had to say, I want you to be ready to take basically anyone that walks on this boat, they need to be able to plug in and go. That's
Absolutely.
a whole
That's
different
a whole
level
different
of
level.
complexity.
I mean, even building with the yachts, we work with yards like Ocean Co. and Fedship and Hasten and many others. We have to put together
I
a
don't even know who
team.
those people are.
I know.
A lot of our European team and our
Just
American
joking.
team, the engineers
Yes.
and the architects, the designers. The team could have as many as 30, 40, 50 men and women, and the protocols to follow through all the way to the final execution for the clients. And it has to be easy to use for everyone who comes on board. It could be a 3-year-old grandchild that still wants to hold their iPhone or their iPad
Yeah.
and make this work for them, all the way to the professional musicians. The other thing I want to talk about is the resolution that's coming on board these days.
You mean like 4K?
4K is in video, yes. The audio needs to follow suit and actually exceed it. My wife and I travel all over the world, and we we go even with our clients to things like the Bolshoi or the Concertgebouw or even the Disney Concert Hall. Last night in New York, I like to keep things fresh. We're always doing the Blue Note or the Vanguard. Last night we were at Birdland. And to be able to be close enough, we were front row to be able to hear the live musicians. That's better than the mediocre audio equipment that's hanging up above our heads.
Yeah.
Sure.
So in a studio, however, whether we're working with East West Studios in Los Angeles, or most recently we're working with a company I talked about a little bit last year that's really proliferating the 3D audio format. They're called Galaxy Studios, and it's the home court for Oro 3D in Belgium. And this studio is 30,000 square feet. The concrete slabs float on railroad car springs beneath them.
Nice.
They can have 100 dB noise isolation, which means you could fire a gun off in one part of the studio and not transfer to the other. They can bring in a full symphony, and the HVAC system is so incredible that between each seat as the musician plays, it won't change more than 0.25 C for the whole performance. So they're
That's
Stradivari.
a little better than our studio.
Yeah.
A little
bit
marginally
better.
better.
And their violins and their cellos are not going out of tune. So imagine when the studios are putting things down to this level.
Yeah.
And like we talked about a little bit last year, but it's getting even more advanced.
That's what they're doing to record it. Now you need to replicate
Right.
You got to
that
replicate
on
it back with the
listening
clients,
end.
and without
That's hard
losing
to
that
do.
quality.
Right.
On a boat.
On the boat,
Oh,
or in their
no.
home,
Or in a home, yeah.
or in their backyard. A lot of people want to use their backyard of their beautiful estates around the world for anything from a live band coming,
Yeah.
or just tea on a Sunday afternoon, maybe their granddaughter or their daughter's wedding or bar mitzvah or whatever
Yeah.
they're into.
Yeah.
So what's amazing is to be able to bring that level of resolution into their lives, and also in many cases a 3D audio format. So what I was talking about at the Oro 3D, for example, in Belgium, they're really working with 3 layers of sound. One layer as we're used to in surround sound, which is known as a 7.1, in many cases even a 5.1. They'll take that layer, they'll build a second layer just before the ceiling height, which could be a couple meters higher, and finally what they call the voice of God channel up on the ceiling. And they'll bring these microphone arrays out into the world, whether it be into the Vienna Philharmonic or the Concertgebouw, or they'll bring it into the countryside. And they did a lot of work as far as how humans perceive sound. So for example, if a sound hit behind you, just a little bit loud at all, you'd immediately be distracted. And that comes from more of a primal survival instinct in
Yeah.
humans. Also, if a sound comes from above your head, you won't perceive it the same and be as distracted as behind you, because human beings didn't really have a lot of
Natural predators swooping
coming
down and
from on high. So
snatching them.
they've done so much research is about how people perceive sound. So besides putting speakers in 3 layers and bringing that level of reality to you, they have to decide how each speaker performs their duties. And it's absolutely extraordinary.
That is
to see it.
amazing.
And when you really sit in these, you are there.
Yeah.
And what I talk about a lot is, if you sit in a symphony, what are the odds you're going to be able to find a seat where you perfectly hear all 80 pieces of the orchestra? Even when you're in a jazz club last night, in the perfect center seat, you're not going to necessarily hear the right amount of the freestanding bass versus a cello versus the drummer on the other
Right.
side. And if you record audio correctly, each of these instruments, and play it back, and here you are in your yacht or your estate, indoor yacht, you can actually hear instruments in many cases more balanced than reality.
Yeah.
Better than
And it's-
I know that's
it's amazing.
your goal with all of your systems.
Indeed.
Now I do have one. We don't have a whole lot of time, but I have one question, because you mentioned something earlier that I was intrigued by. You brought up records. You said
Right.
records are making a comeback, and I'm thinking like vinyl discs. Are you serious?
In 1982, there's a company in Chicago that was pressing 35,000 LPs, records, per day. So that was their peak. In 1983, CDs started to proliferate the world. So they went down to less than 5,000 per day. Last year, they're already up to 29,000 per day.
What?
And they're predicting this year to equal or exceed their record year in 1982. Resolution is back. People are starting to really care about the details of audio and the event of playing audio. If you just quickly go through on your MP3 or what have you, people often don't even listen not only to a whole album, they often don't even listen to a whole song. And
Yeah.
putting out an LP was an event. You grabbed your glass of wine, the artist laid down those excellent albums deliberately with a story to be told.
Yes.
It's an event. And the resolution's extraordinary.
Yeah.
When MP3 came out, the resolution was expensive, so unfortunately it was less than CD. It was about a fifth to an eighth of what a CD is. An LP can be much beyond that. Nowadays, in a recording studio, they're laying down at 192, which is roughly 5 times the resolution of a CD, and in the case of Belgium, double that and double that again. And when you bring that level, the way of fingers, you can hear them touching a guitar string. The way you hear someone
The
whisper
breath.
or caress a
Yeah.
microphone, their breath. Should it be an event in a movie, whatever, and you hear someone kiss, you are, or it's not just about explosions anymore. You actually want to feel that humanistic feeling, that touch with your environment. And I've talked about a couple years ago when I was on the show, if you looked at the way kings and queens and bishops and knights and wealthy people lived in the past, take it 100 years ago, 200 years ago or more, in their castles, there was music throughout the day and night, outside, inside, while they're having dinner, while they're making love. They were listening to the best instruments on the planet.
Yeah.
So if you have our modern day clients now, whether it's in their home, inside, outside, on their yachts, in their aircraft, why should they not want to hear those instruments
Live like a king.
and live like a king?
I
You know,
agree.
in a day and age of audio that comes on our phones and it's crappy audio, I love to hear stuff like this
I know.
where we actually get to hear it as it's meant to be.
My goal
So
is to go and hang out on one of those 100-foot yachts and listen to one of Brian's systems.
You keep dreaming.
That would be, and then I could play "I'm on a Boat."
Right. Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Callie. I
California
appreciate it.
Audio Technologies.
Really enjoyed it. John,
Yeah,
thank
glad
you
to
so
have
much.
you on.
Cheers.
You guys make sure you're getting all the coverage here at CE Week 2014 at geekbeat.tv/CE Week.
Yeah, hang around. Thumbs up on YouTube.
So if you got him, I'm Callie Lewis.
I'm John P. We'll be back later.
Bye.
Great, you guys.